kind of recap of what happened last week is that we were investigating Green Meadows Funeral Home
Mm-hmm.
and spoke a bit with Sylvia Martinez about what happened with Adam Walsh, who had died in a similar way to Darnell Fox. We found out that he just collapsed on the way to the bathroom during the service after a hooded man with tattooed face came in, pointed at Martha, who was doing a set. Um, she screamed, and then Walsh collapsed. Um, let's see. Uh, David did a see through the mist and managed to not only summon like a pack of spectral bloodhounds, but he was able to see Adam's ghost holding his son and crying while holding a branch of holly. Um, from there, the
I'm
police
sorry.
arrived.
Say that last part again about the branch of holly.
Um, there wasn't a whole lot to that, as far as we know. It was Adam was holding, like, Adam as a ghost was holding his son's ghost and crying in a similar sort of like swamp terrain as we saw at the washboard. And he was holding a branch of holly. Um, Specifically, it was like a branch with red berries and like 5-point leaves. From there, the police arrived. It seems that they don't know a whole lot more than we do. Um, and we were able to do. David told Officer Doss pretty much everything that he'd seen. Um, so that's something to keep in mind. She thinks that he's crazy. But essentially, we got the rundown of after Walsh collapsed, the intruder ran away, and that seemed to what happened next seemed to conflict with what David had seen, where apparently um, through the mist, it seemed he escaped unscathed, kind of like moved through solid objects, while in like solid world, um, the intruder got tackled by like this room full of people at this funeral. Um, they reported that he smelled of machine grease and chemicals, and we were able to gather from the police that a similar, like a third victim, the Tiffany that we had heard from the session before, was a Tiffany Bancroft, a socialite married to a hedge fund manager named Ross Bancroft, and they live in a penthouse in the financial district. Um, from there, we got some conflicting information about Sammy and Cyrus's witness reports at the washboard. Apparently, they had been like incorporating some of Martha's testimony into their own, kind of like bleeding into what they thought they saw. And while we were discovering this, we got a phone call from Sammy telling us that Martha had been jumped by the hooded figure. Um, so we immediately went over there, um, got the got the sense of he came into the room, wrestled with Martha for the gun. She shot the gun, and then he ran off. Um, at all of Martha was taken away, though she was reluctant because she wanted to do her set that night. She may or may not come back, and we were able to find a business card in her desk drawer for a Dr. Selma Perrin, with the slogan "Mending the Broken." It is also worth mentioning that both at the funeral home, or yeah, at the funeral home and the washboard. Um, we found like broken pieces of glass. The first one from a picture of the sun shattered on the floor, and at the washboard, it was a broken alcohol bottle. I think it was whiskey. Yeah, that's pretty much where we are right now.
Okay, and so we return and begin this episode from um, the super secret private office where our crew has gathered and are kind of doing an information dump. Everyone's doing the download of what they learned while they were apart, and now they're kind of putting their brains back together again to decide what to do next.
So we have a few ways that we could take the investigation. We can either investigate the Bancroft incident, see if that has anything to do with what's happened, um, what's happened with Walsh and Fox, or we could possibly investigate this Dr. Selma. I also know that David did a bit of extra research that we might follow up on.
It's just some general knowledge about the Bancrofts. I think it's somewhere. I don't remember where you um, wrote the answers to my questions, Jim.
I'm sorry, was I supposed to write answers to questions?
No, you did answer some of my questions. I just don't remember which channel it was in.
Oh, okay. Good question.
Oh, there it
Probably
is.
the
It's
out of
at the
character.
chat. Yep.
Yeah. So I'll copy that over to the VTT as well. That's fine. Just paste it in there. Also, Shanks, you can run the opening monologue move on your character. That will give you a chance to put attention on something. We also need to discuss the ARM crew tag improvement that has been neglected twice now. You get 2 improvements. So do you guys want to walk through how to do a crew improvement?
Yeah.
Or a theme improvement in general?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yep.
Okay.
I think
Please
I need to
do.
pick a theme improvement as well.
All right. So what you do is you return to the theme book for the theme that you're going to improve, and it has some guidelines on how to do that. So I'm going to open my player's guide here real quick. Wrong folder. Let's get to the right folder. Okay, so in your player's guide, you will find theme improvements for your theme in the Who Are You section. You can go down to the theme books and pick the theme book you want. Also in the VTT, there are theme books, PDFs loaded up for you, kind of separated them all out and put them over there, including the ones from Shadows and Showdowns. So you could do it from there. So the crew theme book is not one of the theme books that I put over there. I should do that. So I will get to do that, make a note of that and put the crew theme book in there. So basically, when you improve a theme, you you can look down at the end of the theme book. It talks about specific crew themes. So during the game, whenever you gain an improvement for this theme, you can choose one of the following, and it's got a few to choose from. One is one tight like that, like your crew is tight like that. So once per session, when one of you uses juice points to help or interfere with another crew member's move, you gain 1 more point of juice to do so. So you can do, you spend 1 juice to help, you get another juice to help as well. Or to interfere, you get an extra juice to interfere. One of the items or possessions, this is called quality matters. One of the items or possessions of your crew is a real gem, perfect for whatever it was made for. So choose 1 tag from this crew theme. It must describe an item or a possession. Any core move you make using this tag is dynamite. So dynamite is a special boost to your move that if you roll more than 12 on your move, then there's dynamite results on that move, and that gives you extra things to choose from as the result of the move. So dynamite's when you score higher than a 12. There's also sacrifice, when 2 or more of you face danger against the same status and you get a hit. You may choose to extend the hit to 1 other crew member, or at the cost of exposing yourself. Oh, I'm sorry, at the cost of exposing yourself. On a 10 plus, they take no status, and you take the status with -1 tier. On a 7 to 9, they take the status with -1 tier, and you take the full status. If the move is dynamite on a 12 plus, you can choose to fully protect both of you instead of choosing one or the other 12 plus options. So it gives you an extra 12 plus option. Pull it together. It's once per session. You can remove a burnt crew power tag. And then there's black sheep. Choose together 1 crew member who is the black sheep of the crew. When the black sheep of the crew acts against your mystery or identity, it's expected, so it does not weaken your crew. For everyone else, overlooking the black sheep actions does not count as acting against your mystery or identity either. You can choose a new black sheep at the beginning or end of each session. It's an interesting improvement. So those are some ideas of things that you can do. I think you can also choose to add another. So those are theme improvements that would add to the bottom of the theme. Or you can just choose to add another power tag to your crew as an improvement as well. You can also remove a weakness tag, but that may not be the best thing. That's what helps give you attention. So you can kind of use that as a way to help you balance out your awesome power tags with weaknesses, but then you also get attention when you do so. So you can sometimes add a different weakness or you can change a tag too. So if you want to change the kind of weakness tag, you could do that. Okay, so I'll go ahead and put that crew theme book also.
Just my 2 cents. So since we're doing a lot of investigating and one of our tags is the catch overlooked details, we might want to go with the what was it, pull it together, that lets us undo a burnt tag, or what was it?
Yeah, there's quality matters. Is that the one? Or no, pull it together.
Pull it together.
Once per session, you can recover a burnt crew power tag. Yeah, you can do that.
I mean, being able to catch overlooked details more than once seems pretty good, but
Yeah.
that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think the other option of making something really buff is going to be a little bit down the road, but I think right now we're still early days in this investigation. So I think I'm going to agree that's a good one to do, is recover that burnt tag if we find those missing details that help us get deeper into the mystery. So anybody else got a suggestion though? I mean, don't be afraid to throw it out. Excuse me.
Well, I think Shink said she agreed, so that's
That's
Mhm.
3.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
3.
I'll
That's
do that.
majority rules. You're just outvoted.
Oh no.
Sorry, Daniel.
Okay, so that's one attention or one improvement. Do you want to add another tag or choose one of the other improvements? Get both of those taken care of. Remember that your mystery or identity of this theme is what is the real agenda of the company?
I'm sorry, my dog was barking. I didn't hear a thing you said. Sorry.
Okay, you lose your vote. And next.
American democracy at its finest.
Right.
Voter suppression, man. That's what that.
The dog always makes you lose your vote. All right. So, any other thoughts on maybe another tag, or do you want to choose another improvement? You don't have to improve it right now. If you want some time to think about it and review the thing again,
I'll throw
kinda-
another suggestion out there.
okay.
Since we can reuse a burnt tag, maybe we go with another tag. So in case maybe something like company resources or something. In case we need. Just throwing that out there, or we can put it in our back pocket for later. I'm good.
Yeah, like I was thinking about adding another theme tag, especially since like with some of the stuff that we've uncovered, I feel like there might be a sense of like, oh hey, there's actually like a purpose to this like subdivision. Cool. Have some pity resources. Um but like as far as what that like the resource might be, I'm not sure.
Okay, so you could just make a tag that describes the fact that you have a variety of resources available to you, and then you can use that tag with whatever else other tags you want to use in a change the game that would allow you to then create the actual resource. So it can be malleable, right? It can be something that flows with you, with your need, with whatever that is. Do you guys want to do something like that? I'm not trying to pressure you into anything, just give you some idea of what your
Lies.
options
I
are.
feel so pressured. I feel personally attacked.
Yes. Well, just hate to see those improvements sitting out there unused.
Yeah. What kind of role players are you?
Right.
Come
The
on.
kind that don't talk between sessions is what kind they are.
Good speak.
So that's why we're trying to take it right now.
Yeah.
I think another tag that'll give us some malleable resources is a great idea.
Okay. So in the theme questions, the ones you have BCFG. So do you have that page 147 in your player's guide? If you have it handy, that's
Yeah,
what
I
we're
get
looking
to it.
at. Okay.
Unfortunately.
So questions that you have available are BCFG, HIJ.
B, C, F, G, H, I, J. Got it.
BCF. So just if you don't have it handy, B is where do you meet, work, rest, or prepare for action. So you could have that, choose to have your office become a tag and use that as part of your resources. Or C is what have you learned to do well together? Not sure that fits just yet, but maybe.
All right.
F, what environments or situations are you most comfortable in? Not sure that's clear yet either. Investigation, a GH. So G is what special sources or information do you have? That could certainly be
Ooh, that could be a good one.
that could be a good one for you to just name a source of information and then use that to part of your resources idea of being able to do changes at the game and tap into company resources to do that.
I mean,
And then,
did the other players, those other characters, they left the campaign? Am I assuming that?
yeah, like Excalibur, right?
So, yeah, she had a bunch of resources within the company. We could turn her into an NPC and use her as a way to get stuff.
That's a good
Okay.
idea. That is
So
a-
what? And plus, you got the HR guy or whatever. They got called back to the home office.
It's not on the board.
Yeah. So, what special sources of information do you have? So,
A board member is pretty good.
okay.
Yeah. I'm now leaning more towards that, because if our real agenda is if our major theme is what is the real agenda of the company working for, and she's a board member, she could have some special access. That's not to say she might not be a what do you call it?
Benedict Arnold.
Like a plant.
Well, no, untrustworthy narrator kind of a thing.
Mhm.
Like that doesn't mean she's,
Hidden agendas and all that.
right. So she's got her own agenda. We've got a connection. She'll feed us information, but she might also, it's like the cigarette smoking guy in X-Files. Like, he gave Mulder info, but he gave him info that suited him, So I think that really plays well into the story. But I think it also gives us some leverage. I gotta say, my gut instinct is I like that idea a little bit more than just recovering a burnt tag, is adding that ability.
We can do
use
both.
it.
We
Yeah.
have two. That's the thing.
Yeah, so let's do that.
So, is something like connections to the board sound good?
Yeah, connections to the board sounds great.
Yeah.
All right. Then I have gone and added that. And
Unless it's like a
so,
Pinterest board, then I just don't care.
right, exactly. It's a vision board.
Depends on the board.
Yeah, vision board. I don't care about that one either.
Yeah, that shows up. It's just a picture. You have to figure out what it means.
Exactly.
That's what gets sent to you. Just a picture. All right. Good. Well, then we've handled that. So I'm gonna pop that out of there. All right. So you're gathering back here. Let's see. I think, do we have Mr. Smith?
Mr. Smith.
Mr. Anderson. Welcome back.
Oh, and I need to just update your picture. All right, let me do that real quick for you. You dropped that in the Discord, I saw.
I tried like 4 different AI generators and could not get any of them to give me somebody with a red hand. They just would not paint his hand red.
Okay, that's what MS Paint is for, or whatever,
Yeah.
paint.net.
And we're worried that AI is going to take over the planet. Whatever.
Exactly. It can't even get hands right.
Seriously.
They have like 3 or 5 fingers. They don't even. It's not right.
Just on a side note, no joke. AIs, when they do art, they're really not good at hands.
No, or
in
eyes.
general.
They get
Hands,
eyes wrong too.
Yeah, they get them wrong a lot. 6 fingers and warped shapes and all sorts of crazy stuff.
Boss-eyed pictures.
I downloaded one of those, hey, we'll make 100 unique pictures of you, before I realized, that they were absconding other people's art to make those AIs. But yeah, I got like 50 of those things for $1 or whatever, and it's like, they're really cool, but anytime a hand is in the picture,
Right.
it looks like that person has been the victim of an industrial accident. It's really bad.
Yeah, I made my Discord picture. You can see that right there.
Yeah.
That Discord picture is a Roman citizen of me.
Oh, nice. Very, very nice.
So it's several like that come up. So all right. Turn back camera on. Okay. All right. So I think I got your picture updated. So Mr. Smith, you are good to roll. Let's talk about how Oren is missing, and Mr. Smith shows up at the office as his replacement.
As far as Orin goes, I think he just had enough of everything and probably ate a bullet.
Oh no.
So didn't show up for work the next day because he just couldn't take it anymore. As far as Mr. Smith,
He was delivering the bullet.
yeah, probably. That's not a far off suggestion. He's called in when things aren't moving as quickly as they want. So he that's why he's moving here. He to maybe get a little more traction. And the team is down because of Oren being gone. So that's why Mr. Smith has been transferred in.
Yeah. So, Mr. Smith, you would have simply received an email at the end of yesterday's day saying, and this was probably before anything happened around 1 a.m. to Oren. You would received an email saying the ARM department is in need of new staff. You have been transferred because of your skills and particular resume. And please report here to this address and at 8 a.m. the next morning or whatever, and introduce yourself to the team. You can. This message has been CC'd to the team so that they understand you will be arriving.
Okay.
Signed, Mr. Jones.
Mr. Jones. All right. Thank you, Mr. Jones.
So when you arrive, what do you do? It's a dump. It's a
yeah, I cast
terrible
exposition.
building.
No. I'll introduce myself. So Mr. Smith is always wearing a dusty black coat. He has gloves on and a wide-brimmed hat, very fancy. But no matter where he stands in the room, he always seems to be in shadow, no matter where he's standing.
Nice.
And he will come in and quietly, quiet, calm voice, explain that he is here to help you with your investigation. You may call me Mr. Smith or just Smith if you do not like the formalities. It'll be a pleasure to work with all of you.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Smith.
Hello, Mr. Smith. I'm Declan Lestrange. It's nice to meet you as well. Welcome to the team.
So before Smith responds to either of them, do either of them trigger his senses as far as being evil? Or are they generally, neutral people? I can't really detect people who are actually good, just ones who are just not actively evil, who are actively bad.
So morally dubious doesn't.
Morally dubious won't trigger it. If you do something like, oh, I robbed a guy, but I gave all the money to this homeless dude who needed to eat.
No.
Yeah, I can't. That won't trigger. But if you're like, I have a back room where I've got some kids I'm trafficking to Dubai later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got it.
So as long as they all pass muster, I will be pleasant and formal and nice with them.
I would say my character would not trigger that sense. I've kind of described him as like Blaylock from Indiana Jones, kind of a noir version of that guy, but probably one more step towards you know, I think Blaylock was just in it for the money and the power and things like that. Whereas my guy is in the more that, like I made a joke earlier, morally dubious area. Like he's still trying to kind of, you know, establish that part of his psyche, I guess you could say. Like I need to actually send our game master, because I've been thinking long and hard about Declan's secret Payne. I think I've finally figured it out. Although I'm not even sure in public right now. But that's why he's kind of in this morally dubious area. But I'm not evil, so I don't think I would set that off.
Okay.
Can't speak for Daniel. I'm never beat.
Anya's probably one of the most morally ambiguous, like true neutral kinds of mythos. Yeah.
Uh, well, yeah. I mean, unless someone pays me well enough, you know. I could find it myself to be somewhat less neutral. Maybe. No.
I'll be lawful
I
good
can't.
if the pay is right.
Bad fate. Bad.
What about Greer?
Um, I'm just kind of like going back and forth. If she like nothing that she's done has been like against anyone's will.
Well,
Like,
I mean, consent counts for something, but hey, I mean, come on.
yeah,
That's,
like
that's gonna be that's
it's
gonna vague.
she's done like she's done some shit, but it's like it's mostly been on like the petty level at most.
Okay.
So no
Hey.
murder yet.
Yeah, no blood on her hands, but
Oh, I was going to put some blood. I was going to say self-defense counts, but okay.
I mean,
I'm generally looking
David's
more.
been working.
I'm generally
Sorry.
looking more for like the 7 deadly sins kind of thing.
Yeah.
Is anybody really wrathful? Anybody very lustful, greedy? You know, things I can work with.
Working at an insurance company.
Well, I mean, that
stuff
makes
like
me
that.
that makes all of us evil by nature, right there.
That's the board. That's when we get to the board of directors. That's where all the evil is.
The Borg.
The other thing
Exactly.
you'll notice is Smith is very aloof. He professional. He'll be polite, but he does not seem overtly friendly.
Not like the HR guy.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you guys have shared information. You have brought him up to speed on the case. And what is your next move?
Fine.
I suppose the question is if we want to pursue the continued incidents, or if looking into Martha herself. She seems to be one of the connecting pieces.
Well, I do better with people, so I would suggest maybe Martha.
I mean, so people. We could investigate Tiffany and see if we can find a common thread between the victims, maybe. That's what we were thinking about last time. But I can go with either one. I mean, we had all the spotlights last session, so maybe you should decide this time around. And we'll just go with it.
So willing to backseat. All right. So here is where I think the loose ends on your investigation are. One is there is another potential victim, Tiffany Bancroft, who attended one of the shows at the washboard. And then not long after, so it was just last week or that early this week, it hit the news, the news rags or whatever, that and online social media that she had passed away. And so there's that. Then there's um, Martha and trying to figure out more about her. And then there was some evidence at the Green Meadows funeral home that was also discovered about some machine oil smells. And they took some samples from a piece of the black hoodie, apparently. Appears to be a piece of the black hoodie that tore. And then also carpet fibers. They were great trying to figure out what that particular substance is. And so that's been sent off to the lab, and there may be a loose end there to follow up. So I think you have those directions easily, to go down, whichever one you want.
If that's the case, I think because we've talked with Martha a lot, the evidence about the machine oil spells, peak of the black hoodie, we can come up with that in just a little bit. So it leads me to believe the direction we should go is is investigate this whole thing with Tiffany Bancroft, find out what that's all about. Because the more, I know this sounds cold blooded, but the more victims you find, the more patterns you're going to find, and that helps us connect more dots and little red lines on our CAC board on the wall, our conspiracy theories and things like that.
Yeah, I don't think that we're going to be getting much else from Martha herself.
No,
Like,
but there is her.
beyond that.
Yeah, I'm not really. I don't know if I'm the guy for this, but that what was the note? Hold on, let me check my notes here. Yeah, the Dr. Selma Perrin, who I guess could be her therapist or something like that, or psychologist. Like that's probably the lead we want to actually chase down as far as Martha is concerned. But of course, problem there is you can't just walk in and go, tell me about your patient, because there are rules. I assume even in this world, there's client-patient confidentiality. So someone would have to go in there in disguise or under the cover of potential new patient and see if they could just get in her files or something like that, something dubious of that nature. What do you guys think about that?
I think that'd be something to investigate after we look into Bancroft, because something that sort of ticked off about the therapist is the slogan "Mending the Broken," which personally I tie back to the broken glass that we found across like multiple scenes.
Yeah.
I don't think we found any evidence of it in the Fox case, but it was there when Martha was attacked. It was there at the funeral home, and if there is a third like shattered glass somewhere in Bancroft, then there might be something tied.
Okay.
All right, I think it's a consensus. Bancroft it is.
All right.
Yeah, Bancroft first.
Okay. So as you head over to where the Bancroft Penthouse is located, at the top of a very, very high-end building in the financial district, you will find that the rain picks up a little more heavily there. You're heading more into a higher tech side of the city. A lot more neon, a lot more like billboards, Times Square like billboards that are using high technology to show various ads or promotions, etc. And you're heading into this area. You, as a matter of fact, a little bit like this. I'm going to potentially break your computers. So let's just see what happens. I'm really curious if you guys can handle something like this. So I'm just going to activate a 3D scene. Let's see what happens. Let me know if this brings your potatoes to a halt.
So far, so good.
There'll be an orange bar crawling across the top of the little window that pops up. And once that finishes, there'll be a sidebar over on the right that lets you close that little box if it doesn't go away already. It has a question mark on it, and that will close it. So let's just see how this loads for you. This is a not suitable for potatoes, says the creator of this map. So yes, I'm getting on my game computer, I'm getting a, hey, we're kind of at a stall right now. Do I want to wait or exit the page? Let's see what happens to you. On my real computer, this works great, but we'll see. Is it loading for you guys? Okay.
Yep.
Mine has not. I'm getting the same thing you are. Wait.
Yeah. If you have a game, this is my old gaming computer, so
Mine opened up.
It's out of date. Good. So you can use your mouse wheel as a button and push that in and rotate the map and zoom in and out with your wheel, and I think the right click slides the map around. So I was thinking about, when possible, their mind finally loaded. So when that sidebar comes up on the right, it points to a question mark, and that is how you make it go away, that box in the middle of the screen. Then you can kind of zoom in, zoom out, but it does not work well for my common display user that's doing our recording. So it's stuck just looking at the side of a building. But anyway, I just thought that's kind of cool. A little bit more cyber techy here. Since this is where a lot of the money is in the city, this is where a lot of the high tech of the city goes. But here's where we're going to go to. You basically pull up near this this building, and there's valet parking, or you can try to find some street parking somewhere, and that's all that's available here. So do you want to go with valet parking, or just walk a couple of blocks in the rain after you find someplace that's open on the side of the street? There's a parking garage, but it's for residents only.
Man seems stuck.
Yeah.
Unload.
I'm going to load a different scene for you so that it will pull you back out of that.
Mine finally loaded. It looks pretty cool. Interstellar Hotel, out of this world comfort.
Yeah, and you can kind of rotate it and zoom in and out and all that kind of stuff. You can move around in it. So 3D tokens in this world are possible as well. So if we drag your regular token out there, like I'll throw one up on top of the main building here, the hotel. If I were to take your tokens and put them out there, they actually form 3D tokens as well. So I'm going to just toss them out there. You can see. That's dark because there isn't good lighting up on top, but there's Greer's token on the table. It's just basically a token stood up. It'll always face you. And it's just not well lit right there, so it's hard to see.
I see it.
Uh-huh.
My computer is lagging to hell, but I do see guns with 3 exclamation points.
All right, well, that was a fantastic experiment. Thank you for indulging me for a moment. I'm going to activate a better map, and this should pull you out and put you someplace that's more normal. Oh, but I just made it, so I forgot to, as I always do, configure token vision. because by default it's turned off, and I don't know how to make it turned on normally.
There we go.
Okay. So this will be the inside of the Bancroft penthouse. We're not there just yet, but just so you know that we will get there. But in the meantime, you have the valet parking outside, and you could probably get the company to reimburse that, or you have the opportunity to look for other public parking somewhere else. This building is pretty exclusive.
In which case, it might be in our best interest to avoid, like, having a car around, I guess. Something that's a bit easier to track. In case something or other goes poorly.
In other words, not have any evidence that you visited the building. Try not to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, you certainly can just go and park elsewhere, and then break out the umbrellas and walk over to the building. You certainly can do that, easy peasy, or even grab a cab for a couple of blocks or something, right? So you have make no problem. You end up in the lobby of this this high rise, and it is very nice marble, shiny marble everywhere. The floors, the walls, and lots of stainless steel looking, chrome like furniture finish. And so there is a couple of areas that have some chairs where people might gather to meet. Instead of bringing them up into the building, they may just meet them in the lobby. There is a security desk that is facing the bank of plate glass windows and front doors. And so as you walk in, that's the first thing you'll see, and it'll have, of course, the corporate, the tower name as the property name there. And so you can walk in, and of course, the security crew is very attentive. So they are looking at you as you walk in. They have kind of a nonplussed, or not even that, just kind of a no real emotion on their face. And so even when they greet you, it's like super professional, not overly friendly, like your new Mr. Smith. Maybe they all went to the same finishing school.
It is possible.
So, what do? The guards are just kind of there waiting to respond to you. They're watching to see what you do, like they do everyone else that comes in the building. Either they know them or they watch them if they don't know them. And if they know them, there's a cordial smile and a good morning or good afternoon, Mr. or Mrs. or etc. Right?
So, hold on a second. I had to get something like that really quick, but I'm back. So this is the mansion where the Bancrofts live. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I think when we were doing the opening here, I was a little bit confused. Is Miss Bancroft actually dead? Like, did the guy with the hood did she die, or was there an incident and she survived the incident?
She did.
It was
She's dead.
reported that
Okay.
she died.
All right. So what we need to do is talk with her husband, the hedge fund manager. Correct?
Right. His name is Ross.
Ross.
And he is so well, as posted in the chat in VTT and also in the Discord, Tiffany Vogue came from some money Her father, a successful businessman in the print media industry, Ross Bancroft, made his connections at university and carried them into the financial world. He built his career as a hedge fund manager and has been wildly successful. The only connections to Martha you can find is that last week she attended one of her shows at the washboard. The single photo you found shows Ross in the background, bored out of his mind. Tiffany and Ross were married 7 years ago, and Tiffany is seen most often out on her own, doing her own thing. It's assumed Ross was unable to attend many of those things due to his work schedule. Um, so you find an archived original article about Martha because he was questioning about the article that was framed in Martha's dressing room, and Martha cut out details that like a critique about her overly emotional reaction to her performance, her fainting and breakdown, and subsequent hospitalizations. So those are things that were missing from the original article that Martha put up a different clipping of that article in a frame that highlights her amazing career and her voice and all that kind of stuff. So
Do we know where Tiffany died, actually?
Tiffany was
Did she die at the show?
she died at the Penthouse.
At the Penthouse,
Mm-hmm.
not the washboard. All right,
Correct.
interesting.
Correct.
So we need to establish whether Martha was there, first of all.
Yeah, I have one more question. It's kind of odd, but it's going to define whether like our approach when we talk with the husband. You know, we're investigating the death of you know, gosh, what's his name? Where's the original person who
Darnell
passed away?
Fox.
Darnell Fox, thank you. Yeah, you said it right when I flipped the page, and there it was, Darnell Fox. Okay, so Darnell Fox, I assume, is a a client. Like he had an insurance policy with our company,
Or his company did.
or his company. Somewhere there's a connection. Da da da. Is there a connection with our company and Tiffany? Like we're finding these other people who are connected death wise, but are they also clients? Because if we go up there and say, well, she's a client, da da da, but if we can go up there and say we're investing in a client, but his death is suspicious, her death is similar. We're just trying to find out some details, see if there's a pattern here, something of that nature. So I just need to know, she actually have a life insurance policy with our company.
Okay.
I think I remember asking the question, receiving a no, but it might be something else. No, it was about the hedge fund and the company. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you were wondering if the hedge fund company was related or one of the umbrella companies or the subsidiaries of your company, right?
Right.
And there's no link there. However, when checking company records or asking, the accounts team, is there any policies or anything with Tiffany Bancroft? The answer will come back yes. There was a life insurance policy.
Okay. So that's two people who've died mysteriously who both have life insurance policies with our company, which interesting to note. Okay.
Well, what about the other victim? Wasn't there another victim?
I believe
Yeah,
so.
Adam Walsh.
Right,
Yep.
Adam Walsh. Did Adam
What
Walsh
about him?
also have them?
No.
Okay. So let me track that. All right. So we got Darnell Fox. Let's see. Policy. Yes. Adam Walsh. No.
So you received this assignment from the company because of the suspicious nature of Adam Walsh's death, and you've been asked to.
Or even Darnell Fox, right?
Darnell
Yeah.
Fox, yes, Darnell Fox. Thank you. And he had obviously unusual circumstances surrounding his passing. So it's not that the company won't pay or they're looking for a way to not pay the claim. but they have asked you to clarify the true cause of death.
Got it. Okay.
The company is
So-
not just accepting the coroner's statement of unexplained heart failure.
Fair
We
enough.
want this heart fairly explained.
That falls in a category of like, right? Was he? Yeah. So was this a suicide? Was it foul play?
I mean-
Was it just a weird health condition that he
Drug
didn't
use.
report and should have reported? Maybe then
Yeah.
one that requires a writer.
Or drug use, illegal drug use of some
Mhm.
kind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Okay, so now that we've kind of established that, and we're in this lobby and there's
Mhm.
security, is there a like a front desk?
Yes. Yeah. There's a security desk there. There are security people that have watched you walk in, and since they don't recognize you, they are a couple of them are simply watching you. They haven't
Okay.
made any positive or negative um, facial expressions, or they're just simply kind of waiting on you. They're vigilant.
Excellent. All right. Okay, I'm going to approach the desk and introduce myself, give my company card. Hello, my name is Declan Lestrange. I work for, this large umbrella insurance company, and I would
Smith is going to accompany him and just loom over his shoulder.
fine. I will
In the
note
shadow, causing
Yeah.
a shadow.
I'll be like, okay, but it's fine. He's on my team. That's okay. And just say, um, we're investigators for this company, and we're just here finishing up some details. I was wondering if it would be possible to talk with Mr. Bancroft.
And you don't have an appointment?
No, this is kind of some last minute things. Some things popped up. We don't have his current contact information on his wife's policy. Um, the policy was on his wife, and we tried contacting him. We were not successful, but we did have her address. We don't have his cell phone number, so we decided to come down here to see if we could, um, you know, if he's not here, if you have information on what office he's in, we could go to his office. We just want to ask him a few questions. That's all. And he's perfectly welcome to just meet us here in the lobby if that's okay.
He says, okay, just a minute. And then he kind of steps over to a different part of the desk, and he picks up a phone, and he mutters into the phone quietly, and then looks over at you, and then says some more stuff, and then he hangs up, and he walks back over to you, and he says, well, my apologies, Mr.
Lestrange.
Lestrange, yes, of course. Mr. Lestrange, my apologies, but Mr. Bancroft is not in at the moment, so I could leave a message for him if you prefer. I will certainly make sure he gets it.
Just have him call me. By the way, if he's not in, do you know where he might be?
He would probably be at his office, which is over at the. And he names the building, and it probably doesn't make any sense to you if you're not familiar with building names in the financial area. But he looks at you and he sees that maybe that didn't quite register, so he smiles a bit and says, "That's just 2 blocks west."
Okay. Thank you very much.
Certainly, certainly.
And the name of his office, by the way, and like the actual company or whatever that he works for, would it be under his name? Would it be like Bancroft?
Yeah,
Um,
it's Bancroft Financials, and they own like 4 floors near the top of the the other tower. It's called Cityscape.
Got it.
Maybe we
Don't
should
do
call ahead. Just to avoid
another
running
scene.
around foolishly.
Yeah. Um. Before we do that, well, no, wait. No, yeah, that's right. Yeah, let's go ahead and give them a call and like see if we can nail him down.
Sure. You
and
get
him over there.
so you step over to another part of the lobby and you dial a number for the Cityscape building and ask for that company, and or just directly into the company, and you will receive, you know, the gatekeeper receptionist kind of person who asks for your name and your information, and then she says, hold a moment please, and then she stops for a second, and then immediately turns around and says, Mr. Braincroft's not accepting visitors right now.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, just speaking with my, I'll thank her. I appreciate that. You know, hang up the phone, things like
Mhm.
that. I'll turn to the team. Look, maybe Bancroft's giving us the brush off, or maybe he's a widower in mourning and just doesn't want to talk to anybody. But unless we want to bypass security and go upstairs and investigate things on our own, I think our work here is done. We'll have to shift somewhere else. Has anybody got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, you're not going to
So
let
who is
security
the
stop you.
so looking at these security guards, who's the wink link? I would like to use my basically my my
My
my
pistol.
ability to figure out which one's going to take a bribe and figure out who the wink link is.
Hold on, while you guys resolve this, I'll be right back.
Okay, so you're going to find someone who will take a bribe,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
'cause- yeah.
apply said bribe.
Well, yeah, because that's my whole character's whole shtick is I figure out,
Mhm.
what they want. I figure out what their desire is by reading their soul. I know what they want more than anything, and then I fulfill that wish in exchange for them doing something that would be considered wrong. Uh, that's what I do.
Do it.
Okay, so that would be, I think that merits a roll, and I think I'd like you to use a persuasion to affect that bribe. Now, the nature of what you're trying to get him to do, your agenda is you're going to let us up into the Bancroft penthouse, right?
Yeah, I'm just gonna figure out who's
Yep.
who's got something that they're greeting or lusting after, and
Hmm.
figure out what his and use my mythos to figure out what that is so that I can bribe him.
Okay. All right. And then you are so if he doesn't, so the way this works is if he doesn't like the whole let's see, the move is where's persuasion? Well, that's interesting. It looks like that didn't make it into the moves on our little player screen. I thought I put all of them up there. I guess I missed one. So the player move for persuasion is basically you choose you tell him what you want him to do, and so we'll just assume that you're going to pick out the right person, and you're going to tell him what you want him to do and offer the bribe, and that's to persuade him. If he goes along with your agenda, then all's good, which means you've done a really successful roll, and he chooses to go along with it. If you have a successful roll and he chooses to not go along with it, then he'll have a status applied to him, which might be, um, some harm or some social discrediting, or you kind of can choose a status to place on him that'll give him a negative effect from not going along with you. So, like if you're holding a gun to his head, it could be gunshot wound 2, right? It could be a gunshot wound. that's a consequence for him not going along with you. But maybe there's some other status you could place on him, like afraid for his job or something like that, right? You could put a status on him. So that's basically how persuasion works.
Okay.
So I want you to go ahead and make a do a persuasion, and it's called convince. That's why I'm not finding it. I keep thinking persuasion. It's convince, and it is on my little board here. So basically, what it says here on a 7 to 9, to give in a little but protect their own agenda, right? So you get on a hit, you choose a relevant status with tier equal to the power of your roll. And then your target can choose either to take the status or on a 7 to 9 to give in a little but protect their own agenda, or on a 10 plus to change their agenda to include yours, at least for the time being, right?
Okay.
So on a 10 plus, a very successful bribe.
Okay. And I can use any. Can I use my tags, my theme tags for this?
Absolutely. You pick the ones that make the most sense toward your persuasion.
Well, what would
You're
you
convinced?
say? Well, the hearts of men. So knowing what their,
Mm-hmm.
what he wants is, so I have a bribe to offer, and then what would you say, letting me know, how manipulative or how easily manipulated he is. So I say those would be my two that I could use.
Okay. So go ahead and pop that move up and flag your.
I'm not really sure how to do that. It's been so long. It's been
Oh,
a couple weeks, so
yeah. Okay. So the way you do it, first off, you have to lock your sheet. Then they're clickable. So what you would do is like read souls, right? So if you click read souls and then you click on whatever else you've got here, maybe greed, the greed tag.
greed. Yeah, greed works too.
Okay, so that needs to be a sub tag of a tag, so probably wish fulfillment. And then does it let you use it even when it's wrong? And then as you click execute move, it'll take whatever tags you're using and add them in and present it to me to approve. So you see the execute move button up near the top of your sheet?
Yep.
There you go. All right, so what would you say? Read souls. I see you popping them in there. Whoops, you just canceled it.
I don't know what I did. I thought I hit execute move. I don't know what.
Okay, I think this will probably work if I hit execute move. You'll see this blank window comes up. It says make roll, right? Yeah. And then you wait for me to approve them. And as I check them off, I say, okay, so this one and this one. And then what's pistonthrophobia?
I don't trust people. It's distrust of humans.
It's a new one. I did not know that one.
Okay. We all have that. It's not really a phobia if everybody has it. All right. So now you can roll. I've gone ahead and approved everything. So you go ahead and make the roll from that little window, and it will roll your 2 dice and add your 2 power tags in there. And then the result.
I said that too simply. What it is actually is a fear of making it's a fear of making any kind of personal relationship with someone for fear of being betrayed because of trust issues. That is the long term of it. You're so afraid that people are going to hurt you and betray you that it is an unreasonable fear to the point where you stop making friendships and personal relationships. That is the phobia.
Gotcha.
Stop using City of Mist as your personal therapy.
Yeah. Oh, what a good roll.
Okay. So the most vulnerable person that you sensed, you actually asked to speak to him off to the side. He walks over and you're like, so we're really just want to be in and out, da da da. You try to make this, pretty convincing. And then, can certainly make it worth your while. I know you probably got these big bills it's rent is coming due, whatever. How about we just, and you kind of hand him over a bribe, and he looks at you and he clearly he is looking around like, is anybody seeing this? And he's looking for are we at a bad camera angle? And he just kind of carefully just pushes it back on you and says, sir, I don't think that you understand what my role here is.
Okay.
And I'm going to have to call the police if you don't leave on your own
So
power.
as a side, I'm gonna just try to figure out how do powers work? What is the point of being a mythos if my entire mythos is knowing what this guy wants more than anything? How if I'm offering him the thing he wants most in the
Yeah.
world, how is this failing me so miserably?
Well, you rolled a 3 for starters. That's the main thing. So that's honestly what killed you in this, because that's way below an average roll. I mean, that's 1 in, I think it's 90 is the chance to roll a 3. So good job. You beat the odds of the average, but you were way below average. So powers just let you do things that, like, for example, everything that fueled that whole attempt to convince was accurate. Is just his reaction to it was not what you were hoping for, right? So the result of your dice, your power worked. You know he's susceptible. You know that he is stressing about money. You know that those are the things. So yeah, you've used those powers. He's certainly feeling the greed, etc. Right? So the problem was that it wasn't. It just the timing was bad, or maybe if you'd caught him in a different circumstance. So the randomosity of the multiverse played against you at this moment. So you were able to do exactly what your powers allow you to do. It's just that there's no guaranteed outcome unless you find a thing that you can do that gives you enough tags that are usable for it, that I'm not sure a 3 would ever succeed, but you were only 2 points from success. So instead of a 3, if you'd rolled a 5 or higher, you would have succeeded at this. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So your powers are how you color your action, and they can sometimes let you do, just without having to activate anything or roll for success, you can do things. So, for example, if you wanted to, one of your themes is he's a ghost. And I'm not really sure what that means yet, because you and I haven't discussed your character aside from what you sent me before the game. But I'm not sure what that title implies. But if it means you can actually be incorporeal, then you'd have no problem walking through a solid object, right? Like a door or something. And if that's the case, then you don't need to roll to do that. That's pretty clear to me. Unless maybe the door is also electrified or has a, force field barrier or something like that. Something where I think maybe a ghost would have a hard time getting through. And then I would have you take the risk, right? And that's a different move, for you might potentially take harm from doing this, right? So those are the things. Like, if you want to fly, then you can just fly, right? If that's your power, then you can do that. So for example, Daniel starts getting all wide-eyed and pulling on strings that nobody else can see and figuring things out because he can do that. And he can also probably manipulate people that way. Greer has powers of being able to change the way she looks. So she could clearly become someone else, maybe, or like someone else, maybe disguise herself. And what she might do is she may even appear to show up as someone else's loved one or something, because she has a mind reading ability to be able to turn into something that's more appealing. Or maybe this person really is, like the lady in the red dress, everyone turns their head in the Matrix when she walks by. She could become that person and use that as a distraction, blah, 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 right? So those are powers. And then you just kind of decide what you want to do with the power. And I'll tell you if I think it sounds like a move. And then you apply the power tags to succeed at whatever that move is that I'm interrupting you with.
Okay.
So that's that's pretty much how it works. So you have these powers, you can certainly do that, and there will be a lot of things that you can do that won't require a roll. But in this case, I think that it was appropriate to call for a roll and to see if this guy in the moment could be persuaded by you. And you had a really good chance to do it. Like rolling a 5 or higher is pretty easy to do on 2 dice. And you scrubbed. So that's just what happens. Sorry. My bad. I feel for you. I feel for you, my friend. All right. Anything else? Anything else you want to do? Any of you? Do you want to try to find a way into the Pencroft Penthouse without it being a above board method?
It'd be nice.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
So then what I think you need to do is try to do an investigate, since you're just looking, you're not even sure where to begin looking, but you're going to say, I really want to find a way in. I'm going to kind of look around and see what I can find. Is there another way? Let's put together a plan in the moment. So any of you are willing to do that. That's an investigate roll. If you succeed, you'll get a number of questions to ask that I have to answer you as the MC. And I may answer that question through people or just narrative, or I may just give you a MC to player answer. So if you succeed at investigate, you are entitled to information. How well you succeed at investigate gives me guidelines on whether I can tell you a half truth or a vague answer, or whether I have to be completely straight up, or at least give you a solid lead if I don't think there's a way for you to actually gain the answer to the question you're looking for. I can give you a solid lead on where to get that information. Does that make sense? That's how investigate works. So that's more of a meta maneuver. But if you're not able to like just get the information you want from role playing, like last session they did a fair amount of role playing and got some information without having to roll investigate. But at other times I made them do that, or a see beyond the mist move, what is using your mythos to gain information. So you could do that too. So anyway, you could do that. So if any of you would like to do that, you're welcome to charge up that investigate move and get some information that way. Or just role play, whatever you like.
Mhm.
Daniel.
I
Oh, there you
uh,
go. Okay.
Thinking
now
about
we're just point of clarification. We are
Mhm.
still in the lobby, right? We made a phone
Correct.
call.
I haven't heard you leave yet. You stepped
Good,
over to the
good. I
side.
was
Yep.
making sure. Okay, cool.
I mean, we were asked to leave, so we might want to before they do call the police, but we could probably um, watch the lobby from afar. I mean, it's glass, isn't it? Am I wrong? Am I muted?
No,
No,
I
no,
can hear
no.
you. I can hear you. You've been asked to leave, and you may want to find an alternative way into the building. Is that what you asked?
I guess we could kind of look around, see if there are any other entrances, see how the guards move around, and when the shift switch, or if there's maybe a weak point in their schedule that we could exploit. I could try for investigate for that kind of thing.
Okay.
Like maybe devising a strategy to enter when they're least vigilant or least active or something like that.
Mhm.
They usually go for patrols or stuff during the night. Though night might be a bad time to come in if Bancroft is in house. But something to that effect. So
Okay.
I could do investigate, trying to
Absolutely.
get out.
Yep. You can absolutely do that. Welcome back.
Let's try. Right. I'm trying to see what else I could use for this.
I am going to go back to the front desk and just the same guy I was talking to, the exact same guy who made the phone call, and just say, thank you for your information. I tried calling his office. He's going to be busy in meetings. Does he usually get here around the same time, or is he a typical hedge fund workaholic?
He spends a lot of time at his office. So Miss Bancroft used to, be the one that would hang out here most of the time.
Yeah. And Miss Bancroft is actually the person that we're kind of more interested in. We're trying to get some information about her. I know she recently passed. Is there anything you could tell us about Miss Bancroft?
Well, she was a nice lady. She was very busy. She was often out and about, both day and night. But this was absolutely her home, sweet home.
But nothing out of the ordinary with Miss Bancroft recently? You didn't notice anything strange, or maybe she was hanging out with some strange people or something like that? We're just trying to resolve some vagaries around her recent passing.
Well, like what are you talking about?
She's very young. She's a fairly young woman, and her passing was kind of sudden. It's not a typical thing. We're not police. We don't investigate things, like crimes or legals. But my company just has some questions. We need to talk with him.
Wow.
I'm wondering if
Wow.
you might give us some information as well.
Yeah. No, I'm afraid that would be against policy anyway for me to discuss the private affairs of our residents.
I'm not
I'd have
asking
to.
you to tell me about your private affairs. I'm only asking you if you can tell me your observation about her as a person. Like,
Yes, she was a nice lady. She was busy, had a very busy social calendar, I'm sure. And she would sometimes entertain guests and sometimes go meet guests and, be a guest at the other functions and affairs. She often came back, would be certainly dressed for the night, the nightlife, and would come back, very late. But she absolutely, had a full schedule. She did not seem to be in poor health.
and to your knowledge, did she have any enemies?
Well, I'm sure that many women were jealous of her success and her fame, um, and certainly her money. Mr. Bancroft does not suffer from any financial worries. I'll just put it that way.
Got it. Okay. Thank you very much for your time. And again, just a quick reminder, when Mr. Bancroft shows, if you could please make sure he gets my card and calls me as soon as he can. Thank you so
I will make sure he gets your card. Thank you.
much.
Are you with that other gentleman in the hat?
He's new to our office, yes.
I see. Well, I think Pete over there is contacting the police. So I'm going to suggest you probably not be here when the police arrive. And they respond quickly to this address. So
I'm sure they do.
maybe it would be a good idea for you to go. You've been cordial. We'll have to report all of these things to Mr. Bancroft, of course, as we do anything regarding people coming in to see him. Sometimes you get some wackos in here.
Understood. But that's actually what I want. So thank you very much. Have a good day.
All right.
We shuffle out of the lobby. Or I shuffle out of the lobby.
Does everyone else go? Does Greer stay behind? And anything along those lines?
I'm kind of leaning toward Daniel's idea of let's go back outside and, for lack of a better phrase, case the joint.
Yeah, he did a lousy job.
Once the police was mentioned, he was outside. Like he was at PO, at PO, he was outside the building.
Yeah, I saw those 2 ones fly across my screen. I'm like, oh.
There you go. That was a
But-
strong roll. Oh, it
So-
was such a strong roll.
I know Richard's probably having some connectivity issues or something right now, so I don't know. But he
That's
missed
alright.
this other roll that shows that David is not getting any information out of me at this point. And
I
as a
get a
matter of
hard move.
fact, it says at the bottom of that card a reminder to me that I get to make a hard move. And
Yeah.
hard moves for MCs are creating a dilemma or otherwise causing you trouble. So some various hard moves might be things like complicate things big time, deny them something they want, make something horrible happen, turn their move against them, give a status, reduce or remove a status, or burn a tag. So because he did such a lousy job, I'm actually going to give him a status. And so
Shit. I could have gotten this. I could have turned this into a kind of win. Can I
before I
tax
do
to
something, what
this?
is it you're gonna do?
Because I have ghosts that can case the joint as well for me, and that's like 2 juice to that, like 2 tax for this roll. Because
So
they're
that would have
ghosts.
made it
7.
a 7.
Yes.
Okay.
Can we?
All right.
Can we?
Yep.
Yeah.
You just forgot to do that.
I
So
did. I forgot I had them.
okay. So from
Go back.
outside, you begin to like weave some strings together, kind of tugging around, looking for ways to get in the building, looking down different things, and you're getting kind of like some sensory overload. So you call your ghosts forth, and they you say, "Go see what you can find." You can ask me. 1, 2, 3. So you can ask me. I can't adjust. I wish that this would allow me to. Oh, maybe I can. Hold on. If we add 2 more
Can you?
tags, confirm. There you go. I fixed it.
Oh,
So
nifty.
this says that you get 5 clues. I don't think you have that many in your head, but you can try. Oh,
Well, I have 1 at least because I'm prophetic now, so I can ask what's gonna happen next, and use that later maybe to make our infiltration more efficient. But first of all right. I mean, if you just want to tell me everything, because so many clues.
just tell you everything. Just spill
tell
it.
me everything.
Oy. Ask. What do you want to
Alright.
know?
When is the best time to infiltrate the Bancroft department?
Would be probably like late afternoon, because the guards will have a shift change with or lunches, and the service staff will be cleared out of the penthouse by that time anyway, anticipating return of residents.
All right. Good. Good. What is the best point of entry for this?
It has security, but the service route is the weakest from a security standpoint. You just need to be service staff, and you have access to the whole behind the scenes of the building.
How do I formulate this? How do I get service staff uniforms?
Well, you probably can find them, or
I mean, don't make me say, how do I find service staff uniforms? Come on.
you can just say. So change, but here you go. A change the game would be I find. So this is how it works, and Richard's not here for me to explain to you. You can simply say, I'm going to find service staff uniforms so we can disguise ourselves as building maintenance, right? And you will change the game, and that tells whether you're able to do that or not. Does that make sense from a move perspective? So you simply say you're going to do
Sure.
it, like, and that's when you're using change the game and the juice you get from a successful change the game. So obviously, the more successful you are, the more juice you have, and that juice converts into things that are more than just temporary, if you want, or they can be enough. You find enough uniforms for everyone, right? Because on a 10 plus, you can actually increase the scope of your results. So you could create a tags that are for everyone that says service staff uniform. And they now have a tag, and this is service staff uniform, right? And so that just shows everyone now is all dressed like building maintenance or whatever, right? So
So no need to ask that question because we'd use that in a different move.
a good question that you did ask was, what's the best way in? So I suggested that service staff, the service entrance, if you looked like service staff or could prove credentials that were serviced. It's obviously a secure building because the wealthy residents expect it to be so. So they have a lot of security, but like you need badges, you need etc. So you could requisition those from the company or find your own methods to go outside of the company rules, um, things like that. I think you might want to try to do a proper, following procedures and requisition something, etc. But you may also choose not to do that. Um, Others may find ways to get you what you need if they can produce stuff like that. You may be able to find other people's credentials and uniforms by finding a way into the locker room, where their changing area or whatever, so their break room where it has lockers and stuff. You may find uniforms there, etc. So there's things you can do. It's up to you how you want to approach it. But asking the questions, I'll give you the answers, and then you can act on that intelligence.
All right. Anything else we want to know? I'd be consulting our more breaking and entering specialists on this one. I can feel everything. What do you need to know?
Well, if we found the suits, the uniforms, and we know the time, is there any kind of electronic thing we've got to bypass? Okay, we got the suits. We go up there and we go to the apartment, go in the back door, boop, set off alarms, that kind of thing.
How do we circumvent security?
So you will need badges with the right security clearance level. So you would need to acquire those badges, either existing badges or convince someone to make you badges, like counterfeit badges, or steal them from real people, etc.
All right. How do we
One badge
turn
would
off
be
the
enough.
cameras?
What's
One
that?
would be enough, though, right?
One badge is enough to get you where you need to be. You just got to find the right one, right? One with the right security level.
All right. How do we turn off the cameras? Which I'm guessing are there.
The cameras are nearly impossible to turn off. So what you will need to do is find some way to either not be seen on the cameras, maybe through some mystical method, or the cameras see all. The cameras know everyone who comes and goes, and it's documented that way. So you could simply look like, if you looked like someone else, right? You could do that. So
All right.
either that, or you have to. So if you didn't go through the service entrance and you came through the normal method, you would have to be able to be somebody else, not you, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You have to figure out the right person to look like, whoever that is, whoever you could pander yourself and convince other people that you are that person, then that would get you past security as well.
All right. I did reconnaissance. Now you action people, make it happen.
Jenks, any ideas?
Hold on one
Maybe
second.
muted.
So at this point, I imagine this is turning into an episode of Leverage. So that's what you're trying to do at this point now, right?
What now?
Do you ever watch Leverage? Daniel, do they have it where you're at?
I mean,
Maybe on
I have probably
Prime or Netflix or
almost
something
every
streaming?
streaming service here.
Because
But
you
I
mentioned
have
the
not.
other one that was good, Ragnarok.
Oh,
Yes, you should go look at Leverage. Great series. I don't know, about 6 seasons, I guess.
Leverage serious.
Really a fun. The premise is that someone who is like an insurance guy gathers a bunch of people together of no, some wealthy guy arranges the gathering of all of these different people. They find out one is the mastermind insurance planner guy. He's the guy that figures out all of the ways to get in and out of places, or to, what are all of the frauds that people can use against the insurance company he works for, etc. So he's the mastermind. And then there's a second story cat burglar. There's a high tech guy. There's a guy who's just the hammer. He's the fist. He's the pugilist of the group. And then there's the face, and she's like the con artist. And so they get them all together and they perform their task, and they find out they're working for the bad guy, and the bad guy actually fooled all of them into thinking the person they were doing their grift against was the bad guy. Turns out that's the good guy. So, and then of course they realize this as they're all gathered back together to get their massive amounts of money, and the building blows up. I mean, they get out just in time, but the building blows up. So they scatter, and then that's episode 1. Episode 2, they get back together and decide to go after the guy that's the bad guy for real, and they do it themselves, and they form their own team, and they go after him. And then the rest of the seasons are all about them getting cases one way or another, whether the mastermind comes up with something, or they're watching the news and something comes up, and they go do their apply their typically criminal skills to do good in the world against all these bad people that are showing up as their cases. So that's the premise of that show, and there's a lot of interesting things that come of it, and the characters are interesting. So there's a good waste of a whole bunch of binge watching right there if you want to waste time on that. It's a very well done series.
I'll see
Anyway.
what can be watched.
Yeah. So that's what I see this happening right now. You're now trying to figure out what you're going to do to get into this place, because you suspect there's information inside this penthouse that might tell you something. What are the things you're trying to gain information about? Do you have a clear? I mean, what's your goal here? Is your goal to talk to Mr. Bancroft in person, or somehow?
Eventually, yeah. But also, I mean, now it's starting to look extra sus because we've got 3 people dead in these mysterious circumstances. The hooded figure connected with all of them. There's kind of a now stronger relationship with our umbrella corporation, because 2 of the 3 dead people were clients. And also all 3 of the dead people visited this washboard place for the to see the jazz singer and all that. So they all have a geographical connection. They've got somewhat of a connection through our company.
Now, to be clear, to clear up one of your facts, Adam Walsh never went to the washboard.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot about that. But right now, like, the husband isn't really even my main suspect. It's still the guy with the hood, the hoodie guy.
Right.
So we have yet to meet the husband. We have yet to meet Ross Bancroft. So, like I said, in my mind, he's one of 2 people. Well, 3 people, let's say. First one is grieving widower. You know, like he'd lost his wife. He's burying himself in his work. He doesn't want to talk to anybody about it. Blah 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 blah. Second thing is he's a murderer. You know, he murdered his wife, and he has a deep connection to this thing. Maybe he knows the guy in the hoodie. Third possibility is indifference. Like, yeah, his wife is dead, but he doesn't like. We didn't have a good relationship anyway. She only married me for the money. When she passed away, I shed a tear at the funeral, and now it's back to business. And I'll get my new trophy wife here in another month or so when everyone gives me the I've officially grieved for 60 days. Now
Right.
I'll go find my trophy wife, that kind of thing. So that's my three possibilities with him. But I just keep feeling like there's information about these people that have passed away that is kind of being withheld from us. So I really want to get more in that
Yeah.
apartment to find out a lot about her.
That is my
primarily.
job.
Yeah.
That is my job to withhold that information from you.
Exactly. So yeah, once we get in, I just want to find everything I can find.
Okay. So you really just need to get in. So that's what we're
Pretty
working on
much.
right now is how are you going to get in there, and then you can try to investigate and find some things out about that place. Okay. So with Daniel's mixed success,
I think I was very successful. Thank you very much.
yeah, well, you asked a lot of questions. You got a lot of answers.
Yeah, I've got one more thing I want to try here, because really the only thing now we've got a time, we've got the location uniforms, so that's not a big thing. The only thing that's standing in our way is that security badge, right?
Is
Right.
what?
Well, we
Badge.
have to have a security badge or security key, or like at the school
Yeah.
I work at, we've got those little RFID tags.
Mhm.
Clip
Yep.
them on your belt and pull them on a string and
Right.
smack the little
Exactly.
thing
You'll
to go
need
in.
something like that, or a fob or something along the exactly. Some
Exactly.
digital device that's going to help you get what you need.
Did I see anything like that on the security guards? Did I notice a key fob hanging off their belt, or anything like one of those RFID tags, something like that they might use as their when we were in the lobby, or when I was talking with the guy at the desk, and when
They all have them.
good.
Yeah. So the security guards absolutely have them. And yeah, so are you looking to obtain one?
I am
You're
looking to
going to try
obtain
to
one, but I've
steal
got
one?
to, I got to see what the source is. So here's my working theory. My working theory is, if you're in security, you've got to have security to get, like, it wouldn't make any sense for the people running security to not have a security key to access even the penthouse apartment, because if anything goes wrong in there, they've got to get in immediately.
Right.
If there was a kidnap situation or a fire, they've got to be able to get in there immediately. Housekeeping may or may not have one of those cards, but security has to have one of those cards, and it's got to be the highest access, right? So my theory is, unless somebody's got a better idea, my theory is we've got to steal one from one of the security guys.
Yep.
Anybody?
Maybe. Yeah.
If anybody's got a better plan, I am all ears. I'm all ears.
I mean, if you have some mystical way of spoofing one, that'd work as well, or a non-mystical one, for example, through the company. We can either steal one or we can make one. So the question is, which is, one, easier, two, more interesting? Well, fun.
I think the answer to both of those questions is steal.
I mean, go for it.
And I
Don't
want.
mess up.
Well, here's the other thing though. Here's the real trick. Okay, let's say, for example, your ghost said, come in the afternoon. Here's where the uniforms are. So we've got to go there at, like, let's say 4:00. right? That's when the shift changes or whatever, 5 o'clock, something like that. If we steal the security tag now, like let's say it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, they've got 4 hours to discover that thing's missing, which will probably happen. It'll happen as soon as like if I stole the tag from the guy behind the front desk, as soon as he goes to walk in any room, he's got to use that key. He's going to realize it's missing. And then how long is it missing? Well, it's been missing since those guys walked out the door. So it's just a matter of that guy gave me his card. Go, here's the cops. Go to his office and harass him.
So the best time to steal it would be
the best time to
after
steal it is
shift.
right after we put on those uniforms before we go off, which is what makes a heist. That's really what we're doing right now is a heist. We're performing a heist, but the thing we're trying to steal is info, right? So it's got to be a timing thing. It's got to be like, go get the uniforms, wait for the shift change. When the new guys come on who don't know what we look like come on, then it's just a matter of palming somebody's security card. And then Bob's your uncle. We're off to the races. And just make sure we don't look at any security cameras directly. So if something goes wrong and they check the security cam, there's a bunch of, people not looking directly at the camera. We didn't get a good shot.
Well, you also have a disguise artist in your crew.
That is true.
You have someone in your crew that can look like anybody. As a matter of fact, they can look like whoever they need to look like if they just figure out who they need to look like that for.
Oh, that's a really good idea.
Shanks,
you with us?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm here.
All right. I think from here on, it's going to be your show.
I mean, stealing the card could be someone else's show, someone who is good at stealing. But this could be to change the game moves to create juice for us entering the house. Right? Right. Good talk.
Good talk.
Okay, so all you need to do for this is to create some tags that give you the access you're looking for. I think you've identified what access you need, and so now it's time for you to narrate those moves to get those things that you need. And those things come in the form of tags that you give to everyone in the group.
Before we narrate this and come up with tags, one more thing. It just occurred to me. This might also be a case of less is more. Like, since we have one person who can change their shape and look like whatever they want to look like, do we really need 4 people going up to the apartment, 4 people in the elevator, 4 people dodging cameras, or should we kind of send one person up to go in, snoop around, find out what they find, and bring it back to us, while the rest of us are kind of on the lookout for problems, issues, things like that? What do you guys think about that?
Hello?
I think it makes sense. Like,
so we go in, like 1 or 2 of us, we get the uniform, we get the key, we get Greer to the elevator so she can use the pass, get on the elevator, go, because you got to have that pass to get on the elevator to get to the penthouse. That's how penthouses work. Usually the elevator goes right into it. So
let me just give you my 2 cents on this. Like,
sure,
the point of getting into that apartment is for us to look at the scene of the maybe crime and see what happened. And each of us has a different way to do that. So it might be useful for all of us, or at least most of
There-
us, to be
most
there.
of
The
us,
more
okay.
investigative types. For example, David, who's been looking at the threads that are connecting all of the victims, and so it might be useful for him to be there to do a see beyond the mist inside at this scene as well as he's done at the rest of them.
That's a good point. I can't argue with that. Yeah, that's a better idea. We could put more of our tags to use when we get up there.
So if a way to get all of us in, maybe if Krier has a way to maybe extend her ability to change shape, or if we have a way of masking our presence to electronics through other means. Um, do we have other powers that are capable of that? Something that fuzzes out electronics, something that maybe creates a visual blockage or whatever.
I
Based.
can try that with my kind of dream scenario. I can bend reality a little bit. So I might be able to just put a, like if we just if the staff that works there has, I don't know, baseball hats or something, that's it. Something simple to just so our faces don't look as normal as our faces on the camera or something to that effect. I can give that a shot. But
Or
I do
maybe a
think you're
little bit of
right.
static or something, right?
Yeah, something like
Or
that.
blurred a little bit.
Yeah, like when we walk in the room, the security cameras aren't exactly 100% on. They're grainy, they're blurry, they're staticky. They can see there's humans there, but they can't really see who it is. Then we got to cover our tracks when we get done.
Excellent.
Okay,
That sounds great.
perfect.
So I think that would be a change the game for you to create a status of blurry in cameras.
Got
And
it.
you'd have to roll well enough that you could make that probably a 2-level status and broad, so which means it will cover the whole crew.
Got it.
Otherwise, it'll just be you that's blurry, right? So that means you're going to need to generate like 4 juice
Oof.
and roll a 10 or higher. So if you're putting 4 power tags into it minimum, then that is going to give you good odds at getting a 10 plus. Because if you think of 7 plus 4 is 11, so your average will be in the 11 range. Just roll average or better. Then you win if you come up with 4 tags that support doing that.
Hmm.
Problem is you only have
I only really have one.
you're just an awakened, right? You've only got
Yeah.
one mystical theme, so it's hard to find. Excellent shot doesn't really fit that. So
No,
you you know what I
no,
mean?
I
So
know. I
being
agree with
rugged
everything you're
and
saying.
authoritative
A
doesn't
good
help with
judge
that
of
a lot.
character is not going
Yeah,
to do it. No,
right,
it's
right.
really just that mysterious reality betting. So I'd have to do that and roll like an 11 or a 12 or a 10. I'd have to roll a 10, 11, or 12 with one tag.
And even then, that wouldn't be enough. So other people could juice you. They might be able to find ways to support you with their help, and that would work. That gives you a tag to add to that. So you're kind of using tags to create tags. So if they have help for you,
Or
then
change the game for you. That could work as well.
or if they do something to help change the game to boost your powers, and you can start layering change the game to get the result that you want. Like if they can't do that directly, but they can find a way to help you in whatever their powers are to help you blur the cameras, then that would get you past all the cameras.
Yeah.
So it's a funky layer of powers where no one has a direct power of I can short out technology around me. That would have been handy. But no one has that. So using the powers that you have, if you're trying to get the specific result, you can get there. You just gotta you gotta game it a little bit, right? So
Yeah.
that's how City of Mist gets gamey is, oh, I'm going to create these tags that you can use to create your tags, which are the tags that we want. I just can't create those tags directly. It doesn't make sense. You can, but you don't do it very well. So we need to find ways to help you.
Yeah.
I've got an idea for somehow maybe getting one of the employees to spill like a coffee or some other drink, like right over like on the system, on the security system, like, and try to short it out that way. That could actually be maybe a direct way, or just in addition to someone else's role. What do you think? Possible? Yes, maybe.
Definitely possible.
Mm-hmm.
Could use plug the threads and accidents happen. And in order to plug the threads, I would have to read them first.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what, there's maybe a way we can short circuit this a little bit. And that would be like using a sneak around move where you can apply whatever tags you can think of that might contribute to how you are going to help circumvent the system to get you all up there. Like maybe you can do, it sounds like because you're coming up with some different things that you might be able to do to get around and to get up there. So I think the move that would be so to hide your actions or to hide your allies is a sneak around. So if you do a sneak around as a move and apply your method of contributing to the total sneakiness of your heist to get in, right? Then we can come up with a narrative. If everyone succeeds or if some fail or some have mixed success, we can come up with a narrative that matches how that plays out.
All right.
And remember, you can do a flashback once per game session where you can say, good thing when I came by here earlier, I did X, Y, or Z. And you roll that as a change the game, and that gives you tags also to use as well. But you can only do that once per session. That's the flashback move.
All right. So basically, that means that everyone who wants to help does the change the game, and then someone rolls the sneak around, right?
No, you can all roll sneak around if, but if you do sneak around, so you could all do that. But if you don't, and one person is going to roll for everyone, then just remember that you need to get a better success to sneak everybody around, right?
Right.
Because the results are,
like,
yeah.
Right.
So if you get a 7 to 9, it's complicated, and I get to choose one of the results. Someone unimportant noticed you, but that made them important, right? Or you're perceived only by secondary senses. Someone picks up your scent while you're stalking them. So in other words, your sneak arounds or change the games will help the sneak around and will get you up there. Okay.
I think it's easier than each of us trying to sneak around by himself, because not all of us are very sneaky. So I'm thinking probably like a couple of change the game and then a sneak around for everyone.
Okay. So then everyone apply, see if you can create a tag that the main person is going to use to do a sneak around to get everyone in.
Yeah, my mysterious reality bending, I think, would be the perfect tag for that.
Yep. So you're going to do something to foil something.
Yeah.
Change reality a little bit enough to foil something so that one person can sneak in or do this. And when they get in here, they're going to do their change the game. That's going to turn off the camera. They're going to spill coffee on the camera controller board or whatever, that kind of thing, where they're going to be able to get in and get into the secure power switches and flip some things off and whatever, that kind of thing. Someone else may provide a distraction to the guards when all that happens, right? This is like this movie Sneakers. You're all combining ways to layer on that you're getting the final thing done, right?
Yeah.
you're tripping the alarm somewhere else to get the guard's attention over there, blah, 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 right?
Alright, so I'm going to create a temporary rat that scares the guard and makes him spill the drink. Alright.
Okay.
On a
Is
failure,
this
the rat is not temporary. It is now our new nemesis.
so?
It's the
How are
chaos
you
rat.
creating? What tag in particular are you using to create your rat? Is that spinning a new thread?
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, I could probably add life giver, but I use it for healing mostly. So it would probably be or
Now,
for empowering ghosts.
on this roll, when he does that, I get that little window that says spend help, spend hurt. And I think I do have one help for that I can spend for David.
Just tell us how you help me.
Yeah, I think I do as well.
Yeah, with the helping bend reality. Or wait, is this the location we want? Or I'm sorry, is this the time in the story we wanted to bend the reality, or are we just letting him do this? No,
This
that's
is
right.
me helping the snake around.
Yeah. Okay. Oh,
So just tell me what you're doing to help.
Yeah. If he's creating the temporary rat. Gotta think.
So maybe what you're doing is like making sure that he knows the right room to send the rat to.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Let her roll, I suppose.
All right.
That's a good roll.
There you go. So that's a 10.
Bingo.
So you get 3 juice, and you can spend them in any one of those ways. So you can create story tags, like you can create 3 story tags if you want, or create a 1 story tag that scales up. So that means it'll cover other people.
All right. Let's scale up.
But you're changing the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that someone else can do the sneak, right?
Exactly.
Okay. So maybe you're going to create 3 story tags that they can use to do the sneak.
So those have to be 3 different story tags.
If you're doing story tags, that makes sense. Like the result is cameras are on the fritz, and the guard is no longer watching the cameras, and whatever. So you could do things like that, or you can
guard
just
looking for rats.
Yeah, right. So the distracted guard, equipment malfunction. If you do 3 story tags like that, you can do that, and then the other person can use those to boost their thing. Or you can just try to create a status, a scene status that says easier to get in or something, I guess. That's what you're really trying to do, is you're just trying to make it so that they can't see you on the cameras.
Exactly. So
you still have to have, now you still need to have the security, right? The doors won't open for you without that security. So who's going to do that to try to obtain the right security badge?
I think the best way to do that is with Greer's ability to just look like someone else. So she can just look like one of the security guys and walk over and
just steal it from him.
Yeah, well, not even steal it from him. Like, so for example, when I come to work, sometimes I left my badge at home, and can I have one of the spare security badges, the that kind of thing. And then it's just a simple little, oh yeah, here you go, John, because they know who I am. So she just walks in there looking like one of the other security guards. Oh, hey, by the way, I think I left my badge home. Even if the guy's like, well, I'm gonna have to write you up for that. I know, but blah 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 blah.
And now that security is down, there wouldn't be any like evidence of who this random person was that got access. I think it'd be a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
just the
could even
badge.
I
Right?
could even
That's
use
it.
one juice to make them not notice that the camera's not working because I can hide the effect.
Okay.
But that
There
would
you go.
take
Good,
one of
that's
the
good.
juice. Like I could
Well,
get story tag or the
Yeah, that works.
status and hide the effect.
Okay. All right, so Greer, time for you to do your thing. You are really just trying to obtain a security badge. So to me, that feels more like a sneak around. You are trying to trick somebody. I'm going to double check and see that sneak around makes more sense.
hold on. While you guys do that, I'll be
You
right
want to
back.
act secretly or deceptively, roll plus power. On a hit, everyone
Yeah.
should fall for it.
All right. In which case, I suppose I will initiate that. Wait, I need to actually activate the tags. So, subtle shapeshifting. I'm gonna appear like confidant. And I think, could I potentially argue that like in kind of like, oh yeah, could I like
I'm back,
borrow
guys.
um a pass, like kind of using like the mind reading as kind of like a way to guide the conversation?
Yeah, and you could also use the shower me with gifts because you're trying to get something out of them, right?
Okay, yeah, I was thinking about that. Let's see, psychology. Yeah, I'd say psychology would count there. Opportunist.
Mm, I don't think so.
All right. In which case, just
So then when you're at this point of the game where you're choosing your tags, this opens up the negotiation for how you can I get away with this? What if I do that? All right. So the first thing, I don't know if you ever know what it looks like on my end, but I will send a screenshot to the chat because this is something that's kind of cool on my end is I get easily reminded it's trying to upload it. Hold on. There it goes. Okay, so over in the VTT chat is what I get whenever you guys do a move. I get this review screen and I can do a check mark or a no on any of them, but even better are these suggestions on the right-hand side that suggest the weakness tags that are from the themes that you chose power tags from. So must touch skin. Did I select that? I was going to. Did I click that?
I picked it first because
Good
I
for
was like,
you.
yeah, no,
You can
like
volunteer that stuff too, for sure. And I'm going to, since your conversation includes unchanging, like you have to also talk. You don't just look like the person you want, but you can't change your voice. So
I was going with the idea of like if it's kind of a nameless grunt kind of situation, I didn't think that the voice would necessarily matter.
yeah, but it will, and I think it will. So I'm going to approve those for you. So all the check marks on the things, you get all of those tags, but I think you're trying to talk as little as possible, and then you're talking like this or something, to try to cover your voice, or you're grunting. more, right? You're not being talkative on purpose. You're just making, sounds
Yeah.
to express your own frustration. Like, you're holding your hand up, like, and they're like, all right, fine, whatever. So that's how it's going to play out. So go ahead and roll that. Let's see how it goes. All right. So a 9's a hit. Everyone should fall for it that falls for it, but I also get to do one of those things.
I do not have a great history of rolling in here.
No. You guys did last session. You rolled really well.
Like, I think that was mostly because David was doing most of the rolling. Like, I think I was keeping track. I did not make a roll that I did not get a 1 on at some point. Or, like,
You are not wrong.
one of the dice were a 1.
It's you think you see you have to believe. You have to believe in advance, Just believe. Trust me, it works.
I had a +4, man.
But did you
I
believe?
believe.
Okay. All right. So you managed to get a security badge. So now you have a badge, and you're welcome to use that as a tag. Let me put that scene tag up. Security badge. Whoops. It didn't type anything I typed because I didn't select the field. Security badge. All right.
There it is.
So you have a security badge available to you now. You've fritzed out the CCTV. Who's ready to get in?
Let's
Or
go.
are you gonna do another sneak around? What's your plan? How are you gonna go from there?
Yeah, I think from here, like, Greer would definitely need to, like, swap up personas. Because, like, security guard going up. I'm like, I don't think it would make a whole lot of sense for a random security person to just kind of be walking around that, like, penthouse.
Mm-hmm.
But there shouldn't be anybody in the penthouse at this time.
Yeah, not period. So it doesn't matter then.
I think if we've got the security badge and we've got the uniforms and you've got the persona, and we still have one juice left, let's just go to the elevator and put in the security badge and hit penthouse and hit it.
Yeah,
See what we see.
let's go.
Okay. Very good.
Who's our sneakiest person to roll the sneaky roll?
It seemed like that'd be Greer again.
Which is unfortunate, but
No, you've
Well,
got to
yeah,
believe. Turn it
you gotta
around,
believe it.
Greer. You can do it.
And you've got a lot of juice
let's
to work
go.
with, I think.
Yeah.
Some of which you created.
Let's see.
So you're gonna use the tags that David created.
That's like 2 juice for you.
Okay. So those tags should be down in the bottom right-hand corner of your sheet. Did you create those?
I see security badge.
That's the one I created.
I may have not
Okay.
done anything.
You might also use other tags. You could use crew tags to get in if you needed to.
How do I create a story tag?
So you just click the tag icon by your story tag.
Listen.
It'll turn pink when you mouse over it. And then when you create it, it pops open a window for you just to name it and then close it. Usually that's usually enough.
I mean, oh, right. Right. Does it just create it?
There you go.
I did not see that word.
Security on the fritz.
Right. How does everyone else use it?
They just click on it like any other tag. It's on everyone else's character sheet.
All right.
It's under you.
Guards distracted.
So Greer, you see those showing up down in the bottom right-hand corner?
Yes.
So you have all those story tags you can use in addition to your tags. There's a lot of tags on your sheet. There's 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 19 different tags that are available to you to use to come up with this. They don't all apply. I'm just saying you have quite a selection to choose from
Yeah.
to put up how you're going to do your thing.
If you'd like my ghost to scare everyone away so we can just enter, then you can use that, but
Let's see. One of my abilities would render me completely immobile and also just rocked, so that doesn't really apply here. The other is more just like direct talking to people, which this doesn't seem to be that kind of situation.
So now you can use your subtle shape shifting.
Yeah, I've got subtle shape shifting, appear like confident, and then the story tags or the story tags.
Yep. And so you could use those two, but then you could also use opportunist.
All right. Yeah,
because this time would work because now you're actually looking for the right moment to move, to go from door to door, to walk down the hallway when there's the least amount of people to have to interact with.
Oh yeah, I see what
Right?
you're talking about.
So opportunist seems to make sense there. So there are some tags you can use. So there's a couple there, which 1, 2, 3 maybe, and then guards distracted is 4, security on the fritz 5, security badge 6. So you can use all those tags. There's 6 tags you can use. And then maybe catch overlook details if you wanted to burn that crew tag if you needed it. Because that's going to, and I almost walked out right when this other person came, but I heard the ding or I heard the doorknob. And so I stayed there for a second and they walked by and then I went. That kind of thing, right? So see how these tags all can play in. I'm sorry, Richard's missing out on all this. He's the one that had questions about how does it all come together. But
yeah. He's actually not here. Like he's at it's a long story, but he and I are rooming together because I got divorced like 5 years ago. He got divorced last year. We decided to move in, but he's got this very positive relationship with his ex-wife. They parted on good terms, and when she goes out of town, he goes over and take care of her 2 dogs.
Right.
So he's actually
the internet had problems over there or something.
Yeah, because he works from home. She doesn't work from home.
Gotcha.
She works she's just got a regular, just like laptop and
right.
No big deal. So he might not have the juice. I mean, Richard does Wi-Fi engineering. He's got all the juice here. He doesn't have any juice out there. None.
He needs to change the game out there. Is what I think.
And that's exactly what he needs. So we'll see.
All right, you ready for your roll? Have you selected all your tags? And given me I just need my opportunity to sabotage you, and then I'm ready to go.
All right, let's see.
Gosh, neither of those seem to fit. All right, so I noticed that the security badge tag is red and the others are yellow. So if you right click, or is it left click, you can change the color. I just did it so that it comes up. That means it's going to work as a plus instead of a minus, because tags can also work against you.
All right.
So
it was a minus. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you can use tags and statuses as pluses or minuses. So right clicking or left clicking changes the color, and that's okay. You can roll it. I've approved it. Go for it. All right, there's a 16. Good thing, it's a shame there's no dynamite, because then that would be all kinds of cool stuff. All right, so everyone that should fall for it falls for it, including the security systems. I heard a couple tags burn. That's an amazing sound.
Yeah, the sound effects are just like very delayed on my part, and so it's just like very slowly burning.
Burning tags. Also, one more thing, Declan, for you in particular,
Yeah.
you have the ability to burn a tag for a success. Okay. You can burn for a hit. And that means that you're going to take that tag out until you recover it during downtime. And which is an actual move that we make when everyone decides that they're taking a break from the case or whatever. We're changing the scene to a downtown montage scene.
Right.
And you choose what you're doing during the downtime. And one of those things may be you getting your tag unburnt, right? But if you burn a tag, you get an automatic 10 for a roll. Greer, you should pay attention to this too if you can't roll anything worthwhile except this. Then you go, oh, I'm just going to burn this tag. That gives me a 10 result, which is a hit. It's the best result without being dynamite, right? And then you get a power of 3. So that's the normal, even though you're burning one tag, you don't use any other tags or anything. You don't even roll dice. You just burn to hit.
I see. That's what the burn, because I was wondering about that when they're on the player sheet.
Yes.
You know, where you see
when you're making your move, you can
bolt.
choose to burn. That's
Right.
right.
So the lightning bolt is on one side saying I want to use this, and the burn tag is like I am going to burn this thing out, right?
No, actually, when you make your move, you can choose a tag to burn.
Right.
So you have to select your tag, and then there's a drop-down menu to choose the tag you're going to burn, and you burn for a hit.
Got it.
And then that will burn your tag for you. Those burn icons are for me more than you. Or I may say, as a hard move against you, I can burn one of your tags as well. That's something I can do. Like if Mr. Pulling on the Threads of Fate rolls really badly, I can say, this string breaks. And I can burn his tag that lets him look down the threads, right? So I could say you become out of touch with, there's too many threads. You can't tell which one's which right now. It's confusing. Or you're having a hard, they break or something, right? Something like that. And then he's like, oh shit. So I can burn that, and then he'll have to take downtime and meditate or try to tap more into his mythos and get that back again. And that's
go
how
to his
you
favorite bar and slap back a couple of shots of rye or something.
Yep. Or play Bejeweled or whatever. It's got
Exactly.
got to do something.
That is not the
Angry
David
Birds.
technique at all.
That's what?
Not the David technique. Going to a bar and doing shots.
No.
Not going down to the gun range. No.
That is exactly that's exactly the Declan.
Yeah.
Declan is kind of, like in real life, it would hurt my throat to talk the way I envision him talking. I couldn't make that sound, but he's got to have one of these gravelly voices like this, And if I talk like that even in character in this game for 15 or 20 minutes, I won't be able to talk in front of my students for the whole week.
Like he should just talk like Jim Caviezel, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Where I always talk like this.
That's right.
It's almost like Batman without a cowl.
Yeah, like a later Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Kind of. So he's got that vibe going on. So yeah.
All right. So
do that voice.
Everyone enters the apartment, and now this scene is actually relevant.
Yes.
So there you go. Everybody's in. Everybody can now start to look around. Let me give you a narrative description of the scene. Since I actually have one of those, why not? Here is something that might help set the mood for the scene. I'm going to throw it in a narration and add. All right. So meticulously furnished with the best and trendiest interior design money can buy, every corner of the Bancroft Penthouse is a demonstration of wealth and power. Stepping inside on the reflective marble floor, I think that looks pretty reflective. Yeah. You realize it's all just a lead up to the grand finale, a panoramic view of the city rooftops surrounds the condo, breathtaking, but boy, does it feel empty. Probably the city too, up this high.
So kind of a soulless.
So elevated to be alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is a map that's made by Solution. maps. He does a lot of these kinds of futuristic looking. So I figured this would fit pretty well. All right, so you've got this whole thing, and you do see that the place is clean, and maybe almost to the point of being, a showroom that no one visits.
Mm.
Perhaps since Tiffany has been here, no one else has been here since she passed. Like Ross doesn't entertain guests.
So the cleanup crew has come and cleaned this thing to a T, and it just has now just kind of frozen in this weird,
Right, undisturbed,
personal.
basically.
Yeah.
Like Ross is doing his own thing.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem like he's doing a new thing. Let's casually search the apartment. Let's be mindful of security cameras, even though the security's on the fritz. We don't know how long the security's going to be on the fritz. And I want to see if there is anything like photographs of them together or things like that anywhere in the apartment.
Okay.
I think I would like to kind of look around for like seeing through the mist. I want to see if there's anything like remotely similar to what I've heard of from the other like scenes.
Looking for broken glass.
Broken glass, kind of like the Spanish moss swamp kind of thing. I
Okay.
don't know if that was specifically.
You're gonna look beyond the
for-
mist for that.
Yeah, that's what I'm aiming to do. See if there's anything like
Okay.
sort of residual around.
Then go for it. So you start tapping into your mythos to see what you can see here. Go for it. So when you do these special moves, John, so that you're aware, if Declan does it, then you're using your mythos as your power.
Right.
So the number of mythos themes you have is the number of power tags. So you don't pick them. It just uses your mythos tag to do it. And then that is going to add. You're rolling just fine. I don't know what you're talking about.
Nice. See, you believe.
As soon as I said something about it, that's the rule. Like as soon as you're like, "Oh, this thing's not working," it
When you
starts
scold your
working
dice.
magnificently.
Yeah.
That's right. She's beginning to believe. There's my Neo or my Matrix moment, my Morpheus moment.
Go. All right. Well, this penthouse does seem afflicted by the same swampy bayou kind of feeling as the washboard. Again, gnarly dead trees, giving off the feeling of long dead hopes and dreams, prevailing emptiness.
I'd like to keep looking until I can, like, if I can see Tiffany here. Like, for the past two things, the people have been around the place that they've died, but I don't think we necessarily have that information here. I'd like to find her.
You feel like in this area that the swampiest part, like the place where that becomes the heaviest, is by the grand piano. And as you go over by the grand piano, you see behind what was a tree, an old, like not straight, it like grows sideways for a little bit and goes up. You've seen some of those. They do that a lot in the South, even like where they grow different directions and all that stuff.
Mangrove trees and things like that.
Yeah. Yep. Behind one of those, you see Tiffany. She is bitter and angry. You could just tell by just like an aura of emotion around her.
All right. Would that leave me one or two more clues?
I'm going to take 2 clues away for that much information.
I think you got one question here, which is why is she so?
Yeah, like, is there a way for me to kind of figure out why she's angry and, like, particularly angry and bitter anyway?
Yes. So you kind of try to read her mind, okay? And you reach in and just try to understand. You're using your psychology to read her ghostly body language. You are looking at her, and then there's a time where you hit on a particular thought and she suddenly moves to be very intent on you. And that, so what you gather from that is she doesn't want you touching that thought. And it is the thought that she believes she died because she finally realized it was her only way out.
Hmm. And I think kind of like with that, she's just going to like maintain eye contact and like kind of let go of like beyond the mist.
Okay. And so it all fades away. And you're left staring at the keyboard of this grand piano as you come out of your alternate senses. And you can't help but feel the need to try to shrug off some of that bitterness and anger. It's kind of residual in this area.
So we know where she
Yeah.
died, right?
Yeah, she died around the grand piano, it seems. And judging from how she kind of reacted, it seems that she doesn't like if she was attacked, she didn't realize. It sounds like it could
Um,
have been suicide.
so I would like to do a look beyond the mist of my own, kind of similar stuff to what I did back at the funeral home.
Okay.
Kind of rewinding the time, kind of, and see what else happened there and who else was there, maybe.
Okay.
It's not horrible. It's not great.
If it's using all of your tags, it'd be like what is 8, something like
It's
that.
8.
Yeah,
It is 8. So I would have 3 clues as well. So I'm gonna ask who else was present when she died.
Okay. So again, there's this sense of the bayou here, and you see again boggy ground for you. You get the idea you're surrounded in trees that are spaced here and there. There's little bodies of water all around, and there's this certain damp, musky, rotting smell uh, of stagnation. As you're pulling on your threads and testing, your ding, 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 you're kind of playing with them, trying to figure out who else was here. What you do get is a particular ghost was here. I mean, you see Tiffany, but this is someone different. This is another specter, and it's a female, and she has this green tinge to her, about her, and she kind of oscillates slowly back and forth between being a hag and being a beautiful, beautiful young woman. And she kind of goes back and forth a lot. And so it's hard to tell, but she is prominent here. So with vague vague answer, fuzzy and incomplete answer is yes, there was someone here, and that someone, you see, she looks at you. This ghost looks at you, and she has kind of this wild look in her eye as she's oscillating back and forth. And then at one point, when she's the hag, her fingers just extend and become really, really long, and she just goes right into Tiffany's chest.
Oh wow.
And she just goes like this, and Tiffany's ghost falls to the ground. And then, with that disturbing failure, you almost come out of your see beyond the mist.
All right, I am going to try and hold on.
Mm-hmm.
As I hold on, everyone else can see him, David, staring right at the space where Tiffany died, and suddenly his shadow kind of breaks into 3 pieces, and those pieces look like women in robes that are just perching over his shoulders, just kind of looking from behind him, and they speak in 3 voices. Who are you?
Okay. She is reluctant to interact with you in any way. She instead gets up and walks right through you, like you're not there for a moment. And she goes over to one of the end tables that has a phone on it. And she picks up the phone and dials a number. And then she you can't see the number.
Oh.
It's just like she's not really touching, but you can see she's dialing something. And then, so she's talking, she has the phone up to her hair, she looks over at you, and then she covers her mouth. And as she oscillates, her voice changes a little bit from younger, childlike, almost like teenager like, to older, and back and forth. And she says the name, she says the address of this penthouse. And then she says, she's all yours by the piano. And then hangs up the phone and looks at you and says, you'll never know.
All right. So there's that. What happens after that?
You're still hanging in there. Your 3 fates are perched behind you.
3 fates, 3 clues.
Yep. What else do you want to know?
What happens next? This is actually a question I can ask because I'm prophetic now. Though it's a bit of a.
Do you mean what happens next in this moment, or what happens next for you?
Actually, what happens next in this moment?
Okay. You
Call someone.
yeah. So instead, I'm giving you a shit answer. You ready?
Hit me.
And the answer
all you got.
is you suddenly get pulled. You feel like you're being pulled right out of your mythos as your three fates combine quickly into you, and you snap your face toward the elevator as you see someone come out. And that someone is absolutely hideous. But you can't make out fine details because it hasn't happened yet.
Oh, so this is not. This is
Not
actually this pertains to the present, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. So that's
Oh,
your
someone's
answer
coming.
for the past. Yeah,
So someone's coming.
yeah. It's unclear, but it seems like it.
Okay.
Uh, David snaps out, kinda leans momentarily on the piano and says, "Something's coming. I don't know what, but do we need to leave or prepare to fight it?"
Fighting it could be problematic. All right, it's a heist film, not an action flick. Let's get out of here.
That depends on which scene you're in, actually. But
That's
yeah.
true. but I'm the guy with the gun, and I'm saying let's not be here.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. David is not one to
Yeah.
choose fighting at most times. It's just the question is whether we're quick enough. But all right.
I
So
think
we have
yeah,
the knowledge. Let's go.
yeah, we know she was killed. We know it's not a suicide. Now we don't know exactly how. Well, first things first. We've got the security card. We've got the. Let's assume the cameras are still on snafu. Keep your face more to the floor. Let's head back to the elevator and just make our way out as quickly as possible and get back to our van, parked 2 blocks down the street.
Okay, so you're going to make your way out. You could, from what you've learned from your Sea Beyond the Mist, you could try to figure out the phone number that was called. You could try to see if there's a separate CCTV recording of what happened. You could see
Inside the house?
if neighbors heard it. Well, sure, people can have their own security systems.
That's true.
Or you could see if the neighbors had anything to say about anything that they saw or heard. You could talk to people.
Yeah, we got stuff to do, but first of all, we need to not be murdered.
Because I might do that. Could be a
That's
giant
true.
spider, maybe a
This is
really
not a
big
spider.
big ass spider.
I was about to say. Goddamn security risers.
Okay, very good. So
all right.
looking at the piano, I'm going to give you a freebie.
Ooh.
There is one ticket to Martha Ellis's show at the Washboard next week on the piano.
The date and time is on it too.
Yeah.
Oh,
I make
just that.
note of that. Because I'm
Alright.
now having the feeling that I'm not gonna get to meet Mr. Bancroft in this penthouse, especially, and definitely not at his office. I think I'm gonna get the brush off. But if he goes to the washboard, well, he's at the washboard. You can just bump into him and, hey, mind if I buy you a drink? So something like
Right.
that. All right.
Yeah,
So I've noted the date and time of the ticket.
Alright. And about the phone call, we could probably use company assets to find out because we kinda know the time that she died, right?
Yeah.
So it'd be easy.
If we're gonna do
Here.
anything before we leave, I think the thing would be to see if there is a private security system. But that we don't have long to look.
Do I have any idea how long we do have? I mean,
No,
ballpark?
no, you
Minutes?
don't.
Hours? Seconds?
So the clue I gave you was such complete crap that you're
Mhm.
not even sure if it was just forward in time from the vision you were having or in your immediate future.
Right.
Oh,
So,
lovely.
right. So something may be coming and we have to go, or something already came. And that happened in, the future you saw was the ghost of future past, something for lack of a better phrase. Well, I'll tell you what, because we're almost at that point where we have to break for the evening anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just go ahead very quickly. You know, scan the apartment to physically to see if we can find any other security system that's, maybe he's got some kind of recording system in his office or something like that. Just real quick, see if we can find something. But let's not spend more than 5 or 10 minutes looking for it. If we don't find it, we're gone. So we could just do a investigation check.
Yep. You can certainly do
One-
that. So you just-
One of us probably could be on the lookout for whatever's coming.
Yeah.
Okay.
Could
So this door
use-
over here goes to the foyer that has the elevator in it.
Good deal. I'm going to do an investigate. I'm going to use my theme tag as a smuggler because I'm going to assume that gives me some familiarity with security systems and bypassing them and whatnot. To just see if I can find if he has a second security system and if we can get if it's a CD or videotape or whatever it is we can get.
Yep. Okay.
That's really the only yeah, I can't see premonitions or mysterious reality bending or anything like that adding to it. Nothing in Gunslinger. Nothing in personality. I think that's the only one I've got. So just core move, investigate, execute move.
All right, go for it. Who else wants to investigate? See what else I can find.
6.
If I need to do a lookout roll, I will be using lookout roll. I will be spreading my senses over the building to see if something's coming.
All right.
You let me know if you want to roll for that.
I don't think so. No, I'm cool with it.
Otherwise, David is not the type for that kind of roll.
Because you expect someone to come out the elevators, you're keeping a close eye on that. You've got maybe the front door cracked open a little bit, watching the elevator
I
in the
am
foyer.
using my special senses for this.
Oh, okay. All right. Very good. So you're watching, and meanwhile, Greer, are you gonna be poking around looking for stuff?
Yeah, I think since we're going to be spending time up here anyway, it's probably... She's going to try, poking around a bit.
Okay.
Okay, I don't think I have that many tags that would help me here. Just kind of...
No problem. While you're figuring that out, Declan, you find the DVR that records all of the stuff. And what you find very conveniently missing is all of the footage at the time of death for about 6 hours has been deleted.
All right, that's all I need to know. Okay.
Now, before the 6 hours, though, everything seemed to be working just fine. So it's clearly someone has tampered. That's the one thing you can learn about it. But that was me making a hard move, saying, take away something that they want.
Yeah. Yeah, but you took it away in a way that I can, it's a MacGuffin now. So that's okay. Cool. All right. Good deal.
Okay. Greer, did you roll? Oh, I see. Waiting for me. All right.
Yeah,
You're
I
using your
think it
psychology. Okay.
just like
You can throw
sort
an
of
opportunist. That would make sense in this case. You're looking for, since you don't have
Right.
anything specific in mind, you're looking for any kind of clue that stands out that your opportunist side would probably play into. Okay. Let's see how that goes.
yeah. That's All right, let's just
Nice.
There you go. You got 2 clues. What do you want to know?
Okay, my dice just loaded. All right. Yeah, they're a little on the slow side. I think in particular, Greer would kind of be focusing on like looking for like anything hidden, particularly like in the bedroom area. Just things that might sort of hint at something that they wouldn't generally want like guests to be able to find. Like you have to look for it. Like potentially like um diaries, maybe like photo albums, uh like any electronics maybe.
Medication.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
All right. In a hidden area in the bathroom, you find, and it's well hidden. You only caught it because a tile was loose. Like this is like a super hidden area. And
Nice.
inside, you find a small box. It's like it's empty, but it's like a box to almost like a prescription style. There's no prescription label on it, but I mean, it's just like a little cardboard box that looks like it came with something in it, like maybe a vial or something like that. And it's empty, but it is labeled. And so the label is in, of course, some kind of prescription type Latin. So you don't know what it means. So you'll have to go research that. So we will just refer to this as the vial box. That sounds really good. It's a vial box that held a vial.
All right.
Got it.
Like it came from a lab kind of thing.
Like one of those custom pharmacy kind of a.
Yeah.
What do they call
Like
those?
definitely. Oh,
Yeah, blending pharmacy. What do they call it? I can't
right.
remember.
That does specialized
Compounding
stuff.
pharmacy. That's what
Yeah.
it's called.
Something like that. So it's got a
Yeah.
generic look to it. It doesn't have like a Walgreens label or CVS label or whatever.
No.
It's nothing like that. It's not. It wasn't prescribed by a doctor. It was created in a lab. So this is the. And so it's just the remnant of it. It's the rest of it's gone.
Yeah, it's a
You
design.
can't use it, okay?
Huh?
Yeah.
You can't use it.
No.
Yeah. Can't use it on yourself or anyone else. It's missing. It's gone. But
On rats.
there you go. Okay. But you have some leftover of something, right? Some evidence of something.
Yeah.
All right. Well, very good. That brings us to our end of the scene. We'll see next week if you guys get out of there in time or if we end up having a scrimmage with a really ugly guy that comes out of an elevator. We'll have to see if that happens or not.
Yeah.
All right. So, with that, let us begin the end of credits, end of session credits. So, here we go. Make the move. All right. So, we'll just go around the table like we do every end of session. And you get to pick one or more of those questions to answer. There are 3 to choose from, but you're not limited to just one. And it's just like what you felt like came out of this session. Okay.
Yeah. Which page is that on again?
I
the
actually put it in the chat.
Oh,
So you can see it right there. There are 3 questions. And this is the movie take. So easy
okay.
peasy.
I'm in the wrong
Sounds like
channel.
David
Sorry.
wants to start. So
No, I'm sorry. Just like the map only just changed for me.
oh really?
I was just kind of thinking what you're talking about.
Oh
All
Does
right.
everyone else see the top-down map?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
David
Just came
it
on.
just took a while to get to Tel Aviv. All right.
All
Got
right.
it. Very good.
Uh,
So David, you begin.
All right. So I'm gonna say that I think we kind of found out more of the mechanics of how the team um, can cooperate in difficult situations. So I think there's definitely a mark the crew theme on this
Okay.
because we made like a group effort and it worked and paid off. I think
All right.
I liked how Declan kind of took charge when we went into this heist situation. He was like we need to do this and this and this and this.
Thank you.
So
Appreciate that.
I think David will be finally slightly less terrified, or at least it will be somewhat balanced by utility. So that's a help.
All right. So help for Declan. All right, Declan, on to you. How do you want to answer one or more of these questions?
I'm sorry, which text channel did you put the questions in again?
Oh, in the
Is it in-
VTT. Over in the
VTT.
chat in the VTT. It's a session end. So we'll skip you and come back.
Yeah.
Shanks, tell us what Greer thinks. What questions answered here?
Like I think just with this particular like working outside of the rules kind of situation, we were able to like get a very solid idea of how kind of personalities and powers like can in the crew are like intersecting in a way that like helps to keep things moving. And like I have a good feeling about like how this is going to sort of go on in the future. So probably count that as an attention on a crew theme.
All right. Cool. Did you find it, John?
No, I don't. I hit the VTT on the text channel and it's
What's
got
the last thing you
the
see on the
last
text
one I
channel?
see on there is September 3rd. Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
no. Not in, I'm sorry. In the actual Foundry VTT where the map is, there's a text,
oh,
there's a chat area. That's where the
uh,
move is. Sorry.
I was looking at the
Yeah, in the Discord.
Discord chat. So hold on, let me get back there. Open up that. Here we go. Okay, cool. Now, see, once I've got the right thing, it's a piece of cake, isn't it?
So here's the session end. At the end of the session, as the credits roll, everyone geeks out. You can answer one or more of the following questions. How has the crew grown this session? Which character had the most meaningful interaction with you, positive or negative? Or which of your themes is under the most strain?
Yeah, I don't think any of my themes is really under strain. I don't. I think we all had some good interactions, but I don't think one really sticks out because everybody's kind of doing their own thing. Like we had a good group session, but not really like me and David hashing out some things. So I'm gonna say, last time that's what we really did. But this time I have to say that the crew was coming together, and it's grown. Everybody's starting to discover what their strengths and weaknesses are. So I think I want to either recover a burnt crew power tag or we don't have one that's still burnt though, do we?
We should really start using those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So the one I think that got used was the evidence.
Yeah.
So, and you already have an improvement that says you can kind of unburn that anyway. So maybe that played in. So I don't think there is one to unburn right now.
No.
So attention, I guess.
Yeah, mark attention on a crew theme. I think that'd be the right thing to do because we are starting to come together more as a team, playing to our strengths and weaknesses and figuring out what's going on.
Okay. All right. So to do that, you open up the crew, or you open up your character sheet, and on the crew theme, you would just hit the plus button in front of or where the attention is. Hit that plus
Yeah.
button, and it'll mark a second circle. Good.
Actually,
There you
a
go.
third because I added one as well.
Good deal.
Unless you did it for me.
I didn't do it for you.
All right. So it would be a third, and we'd get another.
There we
All right. So now it says attention +1. That means the +1 means you can add another tag or an improvement. So again, let's see if you can do your homework this week.
Yeah.
And figure out nominate what you think you should do to improve the crew, and hash that out in the Discord. Or we will take some time at the beginning of next session and do that together. Okay.
Got it.
So for today, we're all done. Thanks, everyone. It was good to have you there. Sorry that Richard had some kind of technical failure, wasn't able to keep going, but
Glad
I'll
to have you
pass
guys
them.
back.
Yeah, they were feeling the heat of being the only two. The spotlight only went back and forth.
I mean, it was interesting. It made us a bit more maybe creative in some ways because we had to improvise more. We had fewer skill sets to
And
work
also perhaps a little more confident the game worked okay with 2 players, which was something new to learn, right?
Yep.
So,
That's true.
all right, guys. Thanks so much. You guys have a great week.
as
and
well.
as always, I will see you in the Discord. See ya.
You got it.
Oh, wait.